Hi, welcome back. This one might be a long one because this was kind of the culmination of our entire class. This was the Myaamia lessons, and in this one I'm going to be talking specifically about the first Myaamia lesson from October 22nd at Fairview-Clifton German Language School, in which we talked about the content of the Myaamia culture and the Myaamia tribe, and focused less on the activity of the bookmark. So so much went into this. It's insane. So this might be a long one. Apologies. So before these lessons, I really knew almost nothing about the Myaamia tribe, Myaamia culture, the relationship that Miami University has with the tribe. Knew nothing about that. I knew that we had a Myaamia center. I knew some students that had Myaamia heritage, but other than that, I really knew close to nothing about the people. So this was all super eye-opening, and I got to experience firsthand what these students that we were going to teach were feeling, because I knew almost none of them had any idea about these people or the culture. So I kind of could relate to that completely new concept and knowing how to go about teaching something like very novel, because I experienced it. So this whole process allowed us to create some really great relationships and close connections with those in the citizens of the Myaamia tribe, which was awesome. I think that the most important thing, and everyone will say this, the most important thing about teaching and learning about a new culture is learning it directly from people from that culture, not just reading from online and getting like sources here and there. No, talking to the people from, like, directly having conversation with those people is just super valuable. And we were luckily able to do that many times in our classroom and really ask and be candid about the questions that we had and the problems that arose, and work with them in order to create solutions that were appropriate in representing the culture. So a lot of that kind of related back to Elise Capaccio's whole presentation on humility, because without humility in this process, it just wouldn't have worked. I needed to admit that I knew very little about this culture and that I was willing to learn, and that's all humility is accepting that you could be wrong and that you are willing to grow and learn. And so whenever we would make a mistake about saying the wrong thing or representing something in the wrong way, instead of being embarrassed and completely shutting down and not being open to take any criticism, we were there and we wanted to make it right, and we made sure we did. Even if we messed up 1,000 times, we would always correct ourselves. And so that was super important. I love that we listened to Elise Capaccio's Monday night meetup before any of this even happened. So this was also a novel experience, because this was the first time I was going to teach, like, for real. I've taught in my mom's 3rd grade classroom before. I've helped out with Saturday art lessons, but this was the first time that I was actually facilitating a lesson in a real classroom with students I didn't know. So it was really scary to think about at first, but a big part of my personality is, like, fake it till you make it. Even if you don't have that real confidence in real life, if you just put on not to seem fake, but if you put on a facade of, like, I know what I'm doing, I got this, then you'll just feel like you know what you're doing. So I went into that classroom. I didn't show these kids that I was afraid, and I went for it, and it was super cool. This lesson took so many hours of edits and practice and refining. It was insane the amount of time that Molly and I put into making sure that this lesson was as perfect as it could be, even though no lesson is going to be completely perfect. But we really, really, really wanted to make sure that we could do everything we could to make it go smoothly and represent the culture in a way that was really respectful. So I doubt this is going to be very routine in my future teaching practices of taking 20 plus hours to focus on one lesson, but it really just shows all of the facets of creating a meaningful lesson and something that will really impact students forever. So although it was a lot of work, I am super grateful that we did as much as we did with it. So I did not know what to expect in terms of going into this classroom. We kind of knew a little bit about the classroom environment, the setup. We had some good talks with our coordinating teacher, Mr. Sarvo, and through that we kind of gained a good idea of what this class would be like, but we really didn't know until we stepped in and started talking to the students. And I've really never worked with middle schoolers. The only experience I've had is being one myself, and I think I was pretty annoying as a middle schooler, but these kids were so cool. Like, I was amazed by the input that they had when we were talking about these big ideas that I wasn't even introduced to until college, and really just creating that discussion amazed me, because I was like, you guys are what, 11? How do you have these like great insights? It was so cool. I hated that I ever underestimated them, but now I really have a better idea of that age group. There were a few times where I had no idea what to say in response to some of the things they brought up, and it's really a lot about thinking on the fly and kind of adapting your wording to their level so that everyone understands it. I was just thrown quite a few curveballs, but you know what, you can't let one knock you down. I was really glad as well to like kind of experience the culture of a school for the first time, in that I was able to teach every single period of the day, and instead of just one and then sitting and like taking a time out for 2 hours, I was teaching I was either co-teaching or leading every single class period for the full school day, and it really gave me a taste of like what actual teaching is going to be like, because you don't get a break. I mean, you get lunch, but you're just going, and it was so I passed out after that lesson. I went to bed at I think 8 o'clock, but I just think without doing that before my student teaching, I would have no idea what I was getting into. So I also really loved like talking to the other teachers and the principal and the art teacher as well, just really getting a feel for the culture of the school and just what this school in particular was about. It was just really awesome. I could go on and on for about an hour talking about this experience, but I just feel so grateful for it, because I can tell you right now, I don't think any other school that I would have gone to in terms of colleges would have ever presented me with such a unique and valuable opportunity to connect with a culture outside of my own and teach that culture to other students, and connect it to my major. It was just so cool. I love it, and I think everything really came together in the second lesson that we did, which I will talk about in the next one.